I have to say 2024 has actually been a good year. We are happy as a division, and I want to believe that we are happy as a commission. As you know, the Regional Integration and Trade Division, our main mandate is to work with the rest of the House so that we can deepen integration within the continent. And there are several ways that we do this. The first one is basically ensuring that the trade policies, investment policies across the continent are harmonized. And so this year, some of the greatest results that we have had is we have had additional African countries being able to consult their constituencies and developing African Continental Free Trade Area strategies. We call them the AFCFTA national strategies. Those strategies have been validated. So we have a number of countries that have completed their AFCFTA strategies this year. Others have actually started and they are continuing to do that. Our host country, Ethiopia, is currently in the process of developing its AFCFTA strategies. And for us, it was a big achievement that the Ethiopian government came and said, ECA, can you work with us for us to develop our AFCFTA strategies? And they not only did that because these strategies, they are developed by the governments. They are not developed by the ECA. What we do is we support them. So we were also quite excited that the Ethiopian government agreed to have the leadership of its think tank, that is the policy, the PSI, to be the lead in this. We have countries like Liberia, who not only validated their AFCFTA strategies, but they also ratified the AFCFTA. So beyond the strategies, we also have countries that have also ratified. So now we have 48 countries that have ratified the AFCFTA strategies. But the most important thing is the fact that we are also getting traction on the idea that, based on the work that the ECA is doing through the RITD and other sub-regional offices, that for the AFCFTA and for integration to deepen, we need to see production on the ground. We want to see companies being able to add value. And so our work on the regional value chains has actually gotten traction. We were able to come up with an important knowledge product that is demonstrating how Africa can optimize on the AFCFTA through regional value chains, especially in the area of agro-processing and also in the pharmaceuticals. Talking of the pharmaceuticals, one of the greatest achievements that we are proud of is the fact that as ECA, since 2019, we've been working on an initiative called the AFCFTA Anchored Pharmaceutical Initiative. Essentially what we are trying to do is to see how do you use the rules of the AFCFTA to have a local manufacturing of medicines, vaccines within the continent, and how do you sustain that business by countries working together to buy the medicines together, especially those that are made in Africa. And so this year, the African Union Summit made a decision that the Africa CDC should advance what we call the African pool procurement mechanism for vaccines and medicines. And based on the work that the ECA has actually been leading on the AFCFTA Anchored Pharma Initiative, the Africa CDC said they would want to take over the work we've been doing so that at least they have a starting point. So again, for us, it was a big achievement in the sense that we have the thought process of what we were doing, which we were working with 10 African countries, now being onboarded to become a platform through which the whole of the continent can actually come up with a mechanism for this. Now, this will lead to industrialization, so it will create jobs, and it's also going to save governments money. We don't give aid we don't give grants or aid or loans the way the international financial institutions like the IMF or the World Bank do. But one of the things we do as a think tank is to see how can we support governments to save money. So through a pool procurement mechanism, we believe that countries will be able to procure medicines and eventually vaccines in a cheaper way, and that will save money for them. The third thing that I'm also proud of is the fact that the Abuja Treaty, which is the flagship treaty that is going to take us to the African Economic Community, foreseeing a situation whereby you have an integrated internal African market. So this year, working with the African Union Commission and the Africa Development Bank, we've managed to draft a report that I believe is going to be a seminal report that is going to take Africa to the next level when the member states adopt the recommendations, and we hope that they are going to do that. It's called the Assessing Regional Integration in Africa, which is looking at the question, is it possible, or what are the options of Africa moving to what we would call a customs union, and beyond that, a common market. So that's another thing that I'm actually proud of. And lastly, you see, there's a lot of conversations about climate change. And so if the AFCFTA is going to lead to industrialization, there are people who are concerned that this industrialization may lead to an increase in carbon emissions. So again, this year, we were able to complete and be able to disseminate our work that shows that actually the AFCFTA and the climate change commitment that the African countries have made under the Paris Agreement, it's possible for them to go together in such a way that Africa can industrialize without having to fear that there will be additional carbon emissions from the continent because of the measures that the countries will be taking in the context of their nationally determined contributions. Now, of course, all this work, we've been able to do it with the support of, or through collaboration with our sub-regional offices, and of course, the AFCFTA Secretariat and the African Union Commission, and I also mentioned the African Development Bank. And so it has been a good year, and I think the team is happy, and we are pleased that we've been able to do this. For 2025, I think the most critical thing that, or at least one of the things that we are planning to do, is we believe that the regional value chains that we are working on need to attract investments. And so within the Commission, we've been thinking, how do we utilize special economic zones to attract direct investments, either domestic or from Africa or from the rest of the world? So we will be working on the norms and standards of special economic zones that can be able to attract investments. That's one of the things. But it's not just special economic zones for the sake of it. We are hoping we will be able to come up with ideas on how you can have special economic zones that lead to innovation, because it's only through innovation that you can actually really realize through industrialization, and also be able to create an ecosystem that has a full anchorage of the value chain within the context. So that's one of the things that we'll be looking forward to. And then the second thing we hope to be able to do is the dissemination and advocacy on the next steps of our integration process, probably presenting to the member states and facilitating through our convening power, the conversations around, is it possible for Africa within the next 10 years to make preparations to move to a customs union and to a common market? And I think this is the kinds of things that we need to do, because these are essential for a deeper integrated market. And maybe lastly, also being able to have concrete support to the regional value chains that we have identified in the area of textiles, in the area of leather, in agro-processing, And these are some of the things that we are planning to do next year. I have to say that we have good support in terms of resources from some of our partners, including on the work that we have been doing on digital trade and digitization. So I'm looking forward to 2025, and I'm actually quite excited about it.